Hello and welcome back to another video, or if this is your first video, I'm making my way through all of the chess bots. I spent 6.5 hours beating them today, which is the same day that I'm making these smaller chunks. Today I'm going to be reviewing my game against Filip. Don't look, don't look, don't look, don't look. I gotta... That's not the right one. That's an earlier game, so okay. So no need to worry about that. Alright. So this is against Filip. This is my game against Filip. So playing with the white pieces again. I decided to change it up and go for, I think this is an English opening. But I don't really play the English, so you know, no expectations here. He decided to play this move, which I thought was very passive. I developed my knight. He shot off his A pawn on the side of the board. Not really what I was expecting. I was kind of expecting like this, takes, and then I'd have all this knight that isn't really doing a job, really. So I decided to change this into a queen's pawn opening. This is like a reversed order. Normally I would play this move first, then this move, and then this move, but I did it like all out of order. And I did this one first, and then the knight, and then this one. But, you know, transposition is fine. I'm still familiar with this position, so I was pretty good. He develops his queen, which isn't advisable for earlier players to do, unless you have like a specific like line that you've memorized and you know exactly what's gonna happen. I developed the knight. It was just the move, the most natural move in the position. You know, develop a piece, attacks the queen. So queen has to move back, and she moves all the way back. I take 3 pawns in the center. Look at my center. Isn't it strong? So after he moves the queen, after he moves the queen here, he moves the queen back, just to move it back here. So really, you know, don't do this. Don't be like Filip. So I say, get out of my face! So again, the queen started here, then here, then here, then here, then here. And I'm getting all of this. So I couldn't find any other way to attack the queen. I mean, there was this. I could have done that, but then this. And then I could have taken and then this. And well, I'm thinking I could have maybe done this, and if takes, and then takes, but then there's this. No, wait, I don't have that anymore. This pawn wouldn't be here. So if I go here, and then he goes here, and then I take, and then he develops knight. I was thinking that if I go here, if he takes, it would be check. So that whole line is not good for me, and because of that, oh wait, it wasn't even my turn anyway. So he struck back in the center. Okay, if I had chosen this move instead of this move, is what I'm saying. So I chose this move because I just want a castle and get the king out of danger. He strikes back in the center. I guess I did have en passant, but I didn't even consider it, to be honest with you, because I knew that if I took the pawn and he took back, you know, get this juicy ass knight right here. And I don't have to be concerned about this check because this is defended by the knight. So what? Excuse me? Excuse me. So I couldn't figure out a better spot for the knight. I was considering sacking it here, but then the queen takes, and then what does that really do for me? You know, I thought about like redefending it, but well, actually what I was considering in the game was if I move the queen here, I was expecting something like, what was I expecting? I was expecting this. And then the queen would move here. And then the bishop would probably come here. And then I could go here with my queen. And then he has this move here, which both defends his rook and attacks my knight. And it's defended by this knight, which is defended by the rook. So his entire position stayed together. So because of all of that, I said I have to just bring the knight back. So he blocks in his bishop here. Well, I mean, he didn't really have any other move. He could have moved it here, and if he had moved it here, I would have considered sacking. Well, it's not a sack, it would have been a trade. Messed up his pawn structure. But then, well, his bishop is nerfed forever because, you know. So I decided to castle. He develops his bishop. And I said, I'm going to blow you out of the water. I'm going to march my pawns down the center. And you can't stop me. Because when the bishop moved here, now there's only one attacker. Well, it doesn't work. So he goes for that. It's defended by here, so it's not actually an attack. This is the only piece that I hadn't developed yet. I think that if... Oh, because I've got the knight here. So he moves out of the way. Okay. So, what did I decide to do next? I don't even remember. Okay, let's see how predictable I am. I'm going to try to guess what was my next move based on this position. I don't have any checks. Oh, I figure it was probably this, so I could like just barrel. No, that doesn't work either. This, I felt like it did something relating to that. I don't think it was this. This doesn't do enough. What did I do in this game? Did I go here to reinforce the threat of this and also the threat of this? Because I think I wanted... I remember what I did. So I think I moved the knight here. I think he might have probably did something like this. Or maybe I was concerned about that. I knew that if at any point he did this, I would move my knight here and I'd have this fork. So I was never concerned about this. I don't think that exactly works either, because he can ask me to move and I can't come back anymore. Okay. I'm gonna guess that I did this. And I did do that. So, he develops his knight. So, there was an entire purpose for this. I figured if he did this, then I would be able to fork him and win the rook. But, if I could get this pawn push, and he takes, and then I take, which is not what happened in the game. He counterattacked my, well, I probably should have done this. I think I didn't do this for a specific reason. Because if I do this, it does take with check, and he would have to respond. So he would have to move like here, but I've got all of my pieces like in a line right here, so I can only save so many at the same time. So this guy would be under fire, and if this guy moved, then this guy would be under fire, and if this guy moved, this guy would be under fire. So, so I think because of all of that, I decided that I was just going to simplify and take away his bishop. The king would have to move to the center of the board. I don't have this check now that I'm looking at it, because he just throws this pawn in my face. I don't know why he did that. That bishop was hanging. There was nothing defending it. And because, well, the bishop already got something out of it, I got that fork that I was telling you about earlier. So he takes the bishop. It was a fair trade, so it's not like, you know, I went ahead and I took this. I could only, like, you know, you can only take so many pieces at a time, so we've got to choose one. Chose the bishop. And then I was able to get my knight to safety again. So he, well, he's still trying to fight back. Alright, so this, I wanted to move the knight, but I couldn't move the knight until after this pawn was defended. So he moves here. I want to get my queen into the action. I didn't want him to play this, because then, well, that would, like, invalidate everything I was doing, and I didn't really... I had this. I wanted to try to get this. I was thinking that I could get this. And I got that. And then he moves. And then... so close to promotion, supported by... Okay. I knew I couldn't push, then takes. It would be a trade. Did I have anything? I did have the knight move. It puts more pressure on here, but it also opens up this diagonal. I mean, sorry, this straightaway, this file. It opens up this file, so I can get my rook into the game. All right, so my knight's hanging here. So I got all fancy. Oh, and I like this. What happened in the game? So I'm defending the knight through here. So he gets fancy, and he's just like, okay, well, I'm going to block you from defending your knight. And I say, well, fuck you. Look at this. Look at this. So, X-ray defense. My rook is protected. I'm sorry. My knight is protected by the rook. My rook is protected by the queen. And it's also forking his king and queen, so he can't take my queen. So he takes the rook. I take his queen. My knight is still guarded. So I was quite pleased about that in the game. And mate. Alright, so let's look at the game review. See how strong I played. This is like one of my favorite parts about playing chess. 84.6%, the strength of 1500. So I would get crushed by people like the people that I admire that play chess. They would crush me like a bug. Alright, so let's start the review. What could I have done better? The English is a more patient opening, where white opens c4 to control the d5 square without committing a central pawn. Okay, so this is the English defense that I don't play. So this is still part of the English. So he shoots a pawn down the... Okay, so I guess the idea of this was if he had thrown out, then I would have two pawns clamping down on that. So I could take and take and take and... Well, I could even put the knight there instead, but I don't think that exactly works. No, wait, that's fine. It doesn't exactly... Yeah, there was absolutely no problem with that. So, yeah, that does make more sense, and I guess I should have been considering that. I don't know, thought he was going to, like, play the cow or something. It's Anna Kremling's birthday today, so if you forgot to, you should probably, like, ship her flowers or something. So, it's not actually attacking the pawn. Best move, he moves it back. Alright, so now 3 pawns in the center. So, even though I missed it the first time, I did not miss it on the second time. It didn't even like this. It wanted me to do this. Why? Is the queen trapped already? She's already low on squares. She can't go here. She can only go here. She can only go here. But how do I... Here? Okay. So... does that. So you want me to do this. If I did this, then you would probably move here. And then I would be able to move here? No. That's a blunder. It's an absolute blunder. Why? Because it gives up the knight, you dumbass! Okay. I mean, it develops with tempo. It's a good move, but I don't know. What, just this? No. This. This, you bozo. Don't let the knight get pinned or something. I don't know. Not entirely sure, but I didn't play that. I said, get out of my territory. Well, it's actually your territory, so get out of your territory. Really, really wanted me to put the bishop there. I considered it, but I didn't like the resulting position. You know, I thought it helped him out too much. He gets this, he gets the knight developed. You know, he's gonna, like, I don't know, find a home for everything, get his king safe. So, but he was striking on the wrong side of the board. This was all good. Moving it back was better than getting all fancy. I was actually concerned about this. Because if my knight was still here, then he'd be able to pin it to my queen. And do I have this fancy move, but it doesn't do anything. So, wanted me to pin it. I was gonna castle. If he had pinned it, and if he had taken it, I think it would have just strengthened my center. It would give him rid of his bishop, and then I would have this godly bishop. But that didn't happen. Castle. Alright, so bishop comes out. I don't know. I think well, that doesn't work anyway. Okay. So, I don't know what encouraged him to do this. I think he saw that because I pushed it, it wasn't defended anymore, but I think that he forgot to count. Alright, so, does that, and in the words of Ben Feingold, I think it was, never play f6. So he didn't play f6, he played f5. It was a completely different move. So, I guess we'll have to make an allowance for it. But it's an inaccuracy. So this move that it really, 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 really wanted me to play before is only an excellent move now. So the queen moves to safety. This is an excellent move, but thought I should, you know, I did consider it. Why? If takes, then I pin it. Sure. And then I could do this and put like tremendous amount of pressure. So yeah, I guess I see it now. Could have been more aggressive with it, but it's all right. Take with the knight. Yeah. Why didn't I think of that? Oh, because I was leaving it open for some reason. I was keeping the square open. So takes. And he just hangs his bishop. I take check, and it wasn't even the right move. Okay, so that's probably why he wanted me to take with the knight, so I would never get like. Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe his entire plan was he wanted to do like a center fork trick, but it didn't work out for him. So I'm sorry. It's just this moment that I realized that his queen was hanging. I didn't even miss it in the first game. I missed it in the review. His queen was hanging. And sometimes when I see a move so stupid that it doesn't register in my brain, I'm just like, surely nobody's that stupid, but why didn't you just take the queen? Wow. And I didn't even catch that in the first review. Or in the game. Just like, I'm just, okay. I wasn't even trying to give him a fighting chance. In my mind, I guess I just figured that he had moved something else. Well, that's probably why I played like I could have, yeah. And this is why we do game reviews. Because it's just like, what were you paying attention to, bozo? Okay, I was still proud of this whole sequence. I still eventually won the queen. But he hung it twice for me, and I was just like, no thanks. I don't even need your queen. Wow. Alright. Well, that's it for this game. If you enjoyed this game, consider leaving me a like and subscribing to the channel. It would help me a lot in the long term. Until next time, you have a good one.